Hello, Chisten here, and I've got news about episode 2 of Jesus, A Life in History, which is the program we're working through using what I call the integrated text, which you can sort of see on the screen, where we have taken all 4 Gospels and blended every single word using Strong's Concordance numbers to reference them into a single narrative that tells the whole story of Jesus, and we're going to unpack it and build it into a historical framework so we understand Jesus in the context of the things that are going on with him. So anyway, we're on to episode 2, but if this is the first time you've heard about the program, don't worry too much, because we're recording the sessions and there are quite copious and kind of thorough notes that go with each one. So if you really enjoy them, each session in itself is sort of standalone, and it's an element from Jesus' life fully explored. So you can kind of engage with the session just as a one-off, or if you really enjoy them and you want to build them together, you can either get back notes, or we will be running them again. This is the first time I've done this. This one is being done at King's Church in Wokingham, which is my home church, and is open to everybody. It's totally for free. We actually kind of fund them by giving, because they're not actually covered for by my paid time in any other place. But we don't want to exclude anybody up front. We just want to make it available, and if you find it useful, that's really fantastic. And if you want to buy the full sets of notes, there is a cost obviously involved in that. But on July I forgot what the date is now. It's the second Saturday in July. Let me just quickly check on my phone and I'll tell you which one that is. That's July the 13th. On July the 13th, in the morning, from around 10 o'clock through to around 1 o'clock, we spend the morning in 2 major kind of lessons that go past it. So there's the episode, then session 1 will be made up of 2 lessons. So lesson 1, we're going to be looking at the prologues and the pregnancies, and then in lesson 2, which is lesson 1 is prologue, lesson 2 is pregnancies, and then in session 2, lesson 1 will be looking at the birth of Jesus, and then we're going to look at the early years, childhood years. So those are the sections of the text we'll be looking at, and we'll see how they blend together and they work together to tell a more complete story. We'll also look at all of the latest archaeological and historical research information that goes in terms of putting some dates. You'll see some kind of proposed dates that actually fit Jesus nicely into his history. And this is open to absolutely anyone who would like to join in. So any church, any participation, or even if you're just exploring, you want to understand Jesus a little bit more, it's delivered at a very narrative style. So if you're new as a Christian, or you just want to hear the kind of the story, that's the way it will be delivered from a session point of view. But the notes will give you copious background information that will allow you to kind of research further. There are kind of links to videos that I've done in the past on teaching, or to articles that are available online where you can kind of read more information about some of the things we'll be looking at. So it's a really good way of getting to understand the story of Jesus better. Taking a few hours out, totally free to try out. If it's useful and it's enjoyable, you can always kind of get more involved and make sure you make all of the sessions. But July the 13th, episode 2, where we'll be looking at the birth narratives and birth and childhood narratives of Jesus in those 2 1-hour kind of blocks with some coffee and leg stretch and so on in between. It'd be really great to see you there, please look out in the other information that comes with this video for the links to let us know you're coming, because if we get a rough idea of who's coming, it's so much easier to organise just in putting chairs and tables out and so on and so forth. It's at King's Place in Wokingham, right near the station. So if you're coming from slightly further afield, come into Wokingham station, there's a map we'll send you. You can walk through. If you come from Wokingham anyway, you ought to know where King's Place is on Station Road. It's not too hard to find, and really look forward to seeing as many of you as I can on July the 13th. Thanks then. Bye.